This is just a company with incredible growth. The question is, does that growth continue, especially with all of the customer service issues that Robinhood has had? Its website sometimes simply stops working, which is very much a problem if you're a client trading a volatile stock, especially a day trader. Monthly active users, we're looking at 17.7 million, and the question is, again, how much does that number rise? Katie, what kind of insight do you have on the continued growth that we can expect to see out of Robinhood? Is it still as popular as it was during lockdown, especially in the aftermath of the GameStop debacle?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think that having talked to a lot of sources that are very closely involved with Robinhood, it was my understanding that Robinhood has continued to do very, very well, despite all of the controversies. Obviously the GameStop controversy earlier this year led to a lot of people to publicly proclaim that they were no longer going to use Robinhood, but it also reminded people and informed people about Robinhood, so they got some new users who heard about Robinhood for the first time or learned about how easy it was to trade on it. So, they've had strong revenue growth. As you've seen, the stock market has done pretty well, and especially in a lot of tech stocks in the last year. And so there's just been a greater interest from retail investors in investing. And so Robinhood, which has made it easier for your average Joe to invest, has really benefited from that.
Actually, I'm just seeing now their revenue in the most recent quarter was $522 million, and that compares with revenue in the previous quarter of $331 million. So that gives you an idea of their trajectory. I also want to alert our viewers that there is, if you're a Bloomberg client, there's a TLive blog right now, TLIV Go, on your Bloomberg, so you can follow these things as they cross. I'm always curious about tickers. I'll tell you, when Ferrari went public, I wanted them so badly to use the ticker ENZO, E-N-Z-O, for, of course, their famous founder. They ended up going with race, which is pretty good, I guess. Robinhood has chosen simply Hood, H-O-O-D. I'm not sure if that's what I would have gone with, Katie. Especially considering, the reputational issues. Have they managed, you think, to shake those reputational issues off? Is the user interface so good and customer loyalty so strong that people aren't as bothered as you would believe if you spent a lot of time on Wall Street bets?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's a mixed sentiment on Robinhood for sure. There are a lot of people that dropped Robinhood and went to competitors, and they said they would never trade on Robinhood again. But, there are also other people who maybe don't really care what its, reputation is, and they just find it easy to use, and they want to make some money on the stock market. And in options, crypto, Robinhood is really doing a lot of different types of investing, and they feel that Robinhood is, easy to use. I have friends that just recently started investing in the stock market, and they checked out Robinhood, and within minutes they were able to figure out what to do. So I think that their revenue shows that they're continuing to grow. People are using Robinhood. So despite all the negative headlines, despite inquiries from Capitol Hill, people are using Robinhood.
Yeah, no, I think that's true of many of us. Anecdotally, have a lot of friends who previously never invested, at least not beyond, a 401k, and this year started using Robinhood to buy shares and trade options. I'm looking at some of the headlines continuing across from the S1. Robinhood says it expects to be subject to regulatory proceedings. This is something that Sonali Basak had touched on. They also say that they're involved in numerous litigation matters. Sonali is still with us. Sonali, is this going to be maybe the biggest headwind that investors are going to have to overlook before they buy shares in Robinhood?
Depends on how much it costs them at the end, right? We talked about that record fine. Look at that compared to some of these businesses growing, Matt. Some of these numbers are just eye-popping. If you look at their cryptocurrency business, the year-over-year change was almost $2 1,000% higher in revenue. The options business, 231% higher for the quarter, 322% higher for equities. Of course, it's not just the regulatory matters. A lot of these numbers are through the end of March. So what do they look like in the second quarter of this year? Again, since they've launched new products, and you could see this very early in the S1, you see exponential growth over those 18 million net funded accounts, right? That was a fraction of that 2 years ago. So you could see them diversifying into new products, really what's helping them.